Hello everybody, my name is Gittemary. Welcome to Brightly's YouTube channel. Today I'm going to share with you 10 different sustainable fashion and beauty hacks, tips and tricks that you need to adopt right now. Especially if you're looking to make sure that the way you consume clothes, the way you consume fashion is sustainable, responsible and ethical. I don't think there is that much more to it, so let's just get started. The first thing that I think is by far the most important thing to remember out of all the things that are important to remember is that the most sustainable swap is the one you already have. That goes for zero waste essentials in your kitchen, and it goes for sustainable clothes hanging in your closet. So before starting to opt for new products, before looking to buy new things, look in your closet and find ways to use what you already have, because that will always be the most sustainable. When we find a new lifestyle, and that can be a sustainable lifestyle or any other kind of lifestyle, we tend to gravitate towards buying new things that sort of feel in alignment with this new lifestyle. However, when it comes to sustainability and reducing our impact, we actually need to do the exact opposite. Furthermore, buying sustainably made clothes that we don't need is also unsustainable. Another thing I think is super important, and is something that you can start to do right now, is starting to repair and upcycle clothes that you would normally have thrown away, because clothes do not belong in the bin. About 5% of all US landfills consist of textile waste, and about 17 million tons of textile waste is added to landfills every single year. But there's so many ways that we can use garments and textiles and clothing before they end up there. If you have clothing with small tears or rips or cuts, simply mending it will make the garments good as new. And if the clothes are thoroughly damaged, you can upcycle those parts into makeup remover wipes or tote bags or reusable gift wrapping, pillowcases and much more. In short, things that you would normally buy that would be a zero waste essential, but that you got to make yourself for free. It's a win-win situation. You can also use cotton t-shirts, socks, underwear, all this kind of stuff as cleaning cloths. I remember seeing both my parents and my grandparents upcycle cotton materials into cleaning cloths. And when I was younger, I remember thinking that it was sort of weird, but it's actually really sustainable and really resourceful. Any kind of upcycling is a really neat way to extend a material's lifetime. Number 3 is don't wash clothes that aren't dirty. This seems like such an arbitrary thing to mention, but I think, and myself included, that we are all sometimes guilty of throwing things into the laundry bin because we don't know where else to put it, and then we end up washing a lot of stuff that didn't really need washing. Stuff like jeans, trousers and many different shirts and jumpers don't need to be washed after just one day of wear, but you can wear them over several days before they are in like a critical need of a good wash. If you have small stains on your clothes, you can simply spot wash them in your sink, and if your clothes smells kind of off but not downright bad, air it out overnight or put it in the freezer. Both things will both prevent odors and remove odors that are already there. That's pretty neat. Reduce your consumption of fast fashion is also really essential, and if you can, stop buying it altogether. The fast fashion industry is one of the most polluting in the world, and there's a really good reason for this, because the fast fashion industry produces over 80 billion pieces of clothing every single year. And that's just too much clothing. A study also shows that in 2019 we consumed 400% more clothes than we did in 1990. The industry is also responsible for global water pollution, resource waste and tons of human rights issues. Only about 2% of all garment workers in the world are paid a livable wage. Alternatively, either support small sustainable businesses or go secondhand. You can both find secondhand shops, aka thrift shops and charity shops, that are local and physical, and you can use tons of different secondhand apps that are just available on your phone. Both things are really good instead of supporting fast fashion. Furthermore, simply by doubling the lifespan of your clothes from 1 year to 2 years, which is arguably not a big ask, you can help reduce carbon emissions from clothing production and disposal with up to 24%. This is actually something that took me quite a while to sort of readjust to, but don't buy into trends. Trends are manufactured every single week to make sure that consumers keep buying more stuff that we don't really need. And something being trendy also kind of implies that something can become untrendy. And when it comes to clothes, there's really no way we can use clothes as a disposable item, aka there's really no reason why we regard some clothes as untrendy. You just wear what you want to wear, and that's basically the end of it. But it can be really, really difficult to stop buying into the idea of trends, because the whole point is that you see them advertised to you constantly, and when we see something advertised to us, we start to think that this looks good, this will look good on us, and that's not always the case. So often we can end up with tons of clothes that we bought when we thought it was cool, and then a couple of months went by and we never really wore it again. Instead of doing that, find your own personal versatile style and make sure that everything you buy is in service of that. One cotton t-shirt takes 2,700 liters of water to produce. So rather than looking at the price of an item and thinking about whether or not that's available to you, base the value of your clothes on its resource consumption, because that certainly puts a lot of the necessity of clothing into perspective. This is something that I did quite a lot when I was younger. Whenever I had a party to go to, I would buy 10 dresses. Maybe 10 is a little bit overboard, but I would buy 8 dresses online with my friends, and I didn't really know which one I wanted, but then I tried them on and I kept the one that I liked the best and I sent all the others back. Well, I'm just here to ruin everything for you guys. I am so sorry. A lot of fast fashion brands actually just discard and throw away returned orders because it takes more resources for them, and it's actually more expensive for them to repackage everything and put it back in the store rather than just throwing it away. Also, fast fashion is not called fast for nothing, because it can take quite a long time for returns to get back to the store. Once they get there, that item might already be discarded from the entire collection and a new collection has replaced it, and thus that piece of clothing is now out of style. That also means it will be discarded and wasted in landfill. So when we buy online orders, it's absolutely essential that we don't buy more than we need, and we don't buy things just for the heck of it. It's a completely different situation if we need different sizes and we need to determine which size to use, but for that purpose I would definitely recommend checking out their size chart and measuring yourself and knowing your own measurements instead. That's also a really neat way of making sure that you don't buy more than you need and have to send some of it back, because it might generate a lot of waste. This one has become sort of my mantra, a little activist baby of mine, but ditch glitter. The majority of glitter is simply just made out of plastic and microplastic, and it's super damaging to the environment. There are types of glitters that are biodegradable and they're based on natural materials, but for the most part, and the widely spread types of glitter, they're just made out of petroleum-based plastic, which means that they will never decompose, they will never break down, they will never be recycled, and they will end up in nature, in our water systems, in humans, in animals, everywhere. So when we look at sparkly clothes, and makeup for that matter, it might do more harm than good. Instead, opt for something that is glitter-free. I am sorry to all the glitter lovers out there that I possibly just ruined your day. I am terribly sorry. When it comes to buying makeup, there are tons and tons of waste to deal with, and it can be really, really difficult to find brands that have plastic-free packaging, although they are out there. One of the more easily available hacks that I have found to really work is to buy refill products rather than buying the full packaging. When you just buy the refill part, they're much less packaging, and that way you avoid buying a whole palette or a whole entire big product of things that you don't really need. It's rarely that we need all the colors in a palette, but it can be much more sustainable and economical to simply just buy the refill shades that you need and put them into your own palette instead. That way you'll have a little collection of all your favorite shades and things you know you will be able to finish. Because fun fact, it's not like haha funny, it's more like 70% of all beauty and cosmetic products go into landfill unfinished. Let's put an end to that. You can also look for brands that offer packaging that you can use in your home afterwards or upcycle as containers for something else. You can also look for packaging that is recyclable or even better, compostable. For recyclable packaging, both metal and glass can often be recycled indefinitely, whereas plastic can only be recycled 2 to 3 times, and cardboard is easily compostable. You can also support companies that take a stand against toxic chemicals in their products and toxic chemicals in their packaging. Opting for organic or natural makeup products might be a better idea, and if they're cruelty-free, well, that's just even better. When it comes to sustainable and responsible brands, you can also look for brands with return policies where you can return the packaging and get it cleaned or refilled or repurposed. Not to make things worse, but glitter is not the only product that causes microplastic pollution. Many different types of beauty and care products contain both microbeads and synthetic components that also contribute to ocean pollution. For instance, body and face scrubs often contain these microplastic beads, and when we flush our products down the drain, we also flush tons of plastic down the drain with it. There's also the notion of lots of chemical components. Many of our beauty products contain a lot of chemical synthetically made components, and when we flush those down the drain, they don't dissolve. Instead, they bioaccumulate. They react with other chemical components that are already found in our oceans and rivers and water systems. Those components can be caused by household items, cleaning products, hair dyes, perfumes, all this kind of stuff. And when they first react with each other, they can cause some serious harm to marine life. And lastly, make your own beauty, cosmetic and makeup products. This seems like a really big tip and there's a lot of it to go over. I might not be able to mention all of the different things. An honorable mention is for sure the homemade lotion. Personally, I have used it for more than 5 years at this point and I absolutely love it. You can also make rouge with dehydrated beetroot, and you can use natural pigments and activated charcoal to make eyeshadows, eyebrow powder and mascara. There's so many different things that you can do, so it's really just about researching it and getting started. Thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you liked it. I hope it was helpful. If you have any sustainable fashion or beauty tips, then leave them down below. Let's share with each other. That's what this platform is all about. This was my first video with Brightly. I'm so excited to be part of the family, so thank you so much for including me. You can of course find me on my own channels. I am known as Gittemary everywhere, and I hope you're going to have an amazing day. Now you're going to get the classic Gittemary goodbye. Take really good care of yourselves. Until next time. Bye! I don't know what that was like. Bye! But I feel like you catch my drift.